pulling so hard on the strip, and she yoinks it, and the glob of wax with some of my pubes in it flies up and lands on the ceiling.
Did it stick?
Yes, and she didn't notice it. Alrighty, we have a full house.
We do.
Okay, you want to stay down?
Would it?
You want to stay down?
Okay.
Okay.
He's gonna be undecided.
He's gonna be there.
He's gonna be fine. He's pouting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, we got dogs on the couch today. Dog on the couch right now.
We got dogs on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Farley is a very, very small dog, but he has decided that this couch is not big enough for him.
No.
Even though it's big enough for me, you, and Oki, who are all ostensibly bigger than he is.
Yeah, but no, he's the biggest. So he's laying on the ground pouting.
Yeah.
Farley, you gonna be okay down there? He's not looking at us. He's like, fuck you guys.
What are you?
Oh,
What are you chewing?
You eating something?
No, I think you're just. I think you're.
And then Oki's like, but I'm up here.
You know, the whole thing though is I'm like, okay, well then you'd be at home. Would you be happier by yourself?
No,
At home?
no, be losing it. Oh, we've got a fart. Just give it a second.
Is it hit? Is it? Please do not. Why would you?
I don't know whose dog that was.
I can tell his farts.
I
Can you
think
tell
it's
hers?
Oki's, but Oki doesn't fart that much, so it's gone
That's
now.
not his.
Well, I smelled it first, and I'm in the trajectory.
And you are right in.
I'm in the trajectory zone, so
Yeah.
it must have been Oki.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
laying there like she looks like she's just got back from war.
I cannot believe you waved that in my direction.
I needed you to test.
It would have. Stop it! It would have come to me.
You know what happened is
Sooner
it
rather than
came out
later.
of her butt and it
Yep.
went in this crack and it like jetted straight into my face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
see? She's all stretched out now. She's got less gas
Yeah,
in her
okay.
tummy and she can stretch out now like an accordion.
You feel better. Okay, where can I put this? Okay.
Hello everybody. Welcome back to the Let Me Know podcast episode
Hi.
7.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are doing well. It is the first episode before Christmas. Because the next episode will be after Christmas.
True.
So if you're seeing this, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate, if you don't, fine.
Thank God we can say Merry Christmas again. None
We
of this
say
Happy
Merry-
Holidays woke bullshit.
You know what? We say Merry
We
Christmas.
said Merry Christmas in this household. Oh, who are you, by the way? Are you? What's your name?
I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam. I'm Caroline. Everyone.
So we
Okay.
finally did something that we have been promising for a long time.
And that is we bleached our assholes.
Yay! And we saw Wicked at the same time.
Yay!
Y'all ever go to the
We
movie
did.
and do a little asshole bleach while you're watching Defying Gravity?
You know, I have to say that when I used to get waxed, getting my asshole waxed actually would feel good. Because
Can we
by
actually
the time we
talk
got
about that?
because by the time they got to the asshole, everything else was so painful that it was like a relief.
I want to talk about that
Yeah.
because we've touched on this in private a couple times, the waxing.
Mm-hmm.
I have never gotten anything waxed other than my eyebrows. I'd waxed my arms a couple times myself.
Okay.
Do they like, and then, or how do they?
Do they finger
No.
my butthole?
No, I'm trying to figure out the logistics of how they put the wax on. Like, do they like?
It depends. Sometimes they put the wax right there and then they put the strips down.
And then how?
Off. Sometimes it's like on the strip and they put it down.
Because okay, I don't want to talk about waxing. No, we're going to talk about waxing buttholes. I'm just like, I've always thought that was like the inevitable next step.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is terrifying. Getting anything from my neck down scares the shit out of me.
Well, I don't do waxing anymore. I get everything lasered.
You love laser.
Yeah, I love lasered. I love feeling like I am a brand new baby. Did I ever tell you the time that I was getting my butthole lasered and you called me?
No, you didn't bring this
I
up,
didn't bring it
actually.
up, where I was on my side with my you have to spread your cheeks.
And I called you, and you didn't mention that you were lazy sideways getting laser beamed.
I mean, it was not a big deal.
Wow.
And then I also, that was the day that I was like, had a bunch of calls I had to take.
Wait, so you were just like Rolodex while you were getting...
kept getting calls, and I was like, oh my God, I got to take this call. And the girl who does my lasering was dying laughing because it was a very hilarious scene of
just, hold on, I got to take this call.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
what
then
was
she'd be like, can you lift the left cheek? And I'd be like, yeah, I got you.
So you're just on the phone, like fully just like, okay. Wow. Interesting. Well, apparently it doesn't hurt that bad because you didn't. Like,
no, the lasering doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt?
Well, it depends on the area. I've had it done enough now though. And it's so great. Like I don't shave at all ever. My armpits,
How
my
long
legs.
does it last?
Well, you have to go get a bunch of sessions. You're supposed to do like 6 to 8 initial sessions, and then you do maintenance.
So
but it depends on the thickness of your hair.
How frequently?
So I was going like once every 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
No. 6 to 8 weeks, and I would just get it all done. Yeah, and then you do again, it depends on how thick your hair is.
Because my hair's coarse.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think you'd be a great candidate for lasering.
I would be, because here's the thing. I never have smooth legs.
Yeah.
Ever. Like the second that I shave my legs, I get out of the shower and like it's already like I can feel it. Like
I
I
have the
can't.
worst razor bumps.
Yeah, and I've started to get like, as I've gotten older, on the side of my knees, I have these like permanent kind of like razor bumps that I can't make go away. Things are falling apart quickly. Just to be clear.
Laser it, babes.
I should try
Get
it.
that. Get that laser going
how long
all
does
over your
it
body.
take? Like if they're gonna go from the neck down, the whole shebang.
They're just like,
yeah, it's like, you know, when you go in the airport and you put your arms up and they just
legs is the longest, but even still, I think it's like 15. It's like 15, 20 minutes for the legs, and then everything else is super fast. Yeah, because it's just like.
I might come in next episode and just be lasered
and be like,
up.
Look how shiny I am.
Just be like,
I am a hairless dog.
yeah, here's for the Patreon.
Yeah. Hi.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Because, and this is just going to be a chaotic episode, I can already tell. Shaving your butthole is terrible.
No bueno.
There is no, like, you don't realize how many crevices. Sorry, Scootish.
This is a lot. I'm learning.
You're learning.
Learning. I need
Like,
to know this.
You've never shaved your butthole?
No.
Really?
No.
Huh.
You ever waxed, lasered?
We
No.
have maybe all
Honey
three of us should go
scrubbed.
get lasered.
I do have to get waxed. I told my stream I would a while ago.
I'm licensed in waxing.
Do you want?
Are you?
Yeah. I used to be an esthetician.
Were you about to say, do you want to wax?
I'm not going to
my-
wax your butthole.
I didn't imply butthole.
How much did they raise money for something to get you waxed?
It was a good
okay.
bit of change. It was like
Okay.
2,000 subs.
Shit.
Yeah, that's not butthole money. It's not quite butthole money.
I never agreed to butthole or the nethers. I just said arms, legs, chest.
Or the nethers.
Okay.
Or the nethers.
Minecraft.
Gosh.
No, shaving your butthole is terrible. Like, you don't realize like how many like ways that you can accidentally cut yourself with a razor until you try to.
Yeah.
Like and also you have to shave with both hands. You have to be ambidextrous because you have to have one hand that holds and one hand that shaves, and you can't do the other side with the other one. So you gotta.
Yeah. And the thing is that you don't want stubble in your butthole.
That's the thing.
I guess it depends how thick your hair is,
Yeah.
but it's still uncomfortable.
I heard a TikTok. This is so much. I'm so sorry to our new editor who is having to edit this episode as the first
I'm
one.
not.
As the first. I watched this TikTok once where this girl was like talking to her boyfriend and she was like, what do guys look at when they're like from behind?
When they're from behind.
And he was like,
your butthole.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm different now.
You were thinking about your butthole.
Yeah, all of a sudden
I was like,
all of a sudden like the thoughts of laser came into my mind and I was like,
maybe
okay.
I should do that thing that Caroline talks about all the time.
Literally, you talk about it all the time.
I know, because the last time I got waxed, and I have told this story before on stream,
Mm-hmm.
but the last time I got waxed, when I was like, nope, I'm done with this. I went to go see this. I went to this waxing place, and the woman was like this very scary Russian lady, and she, like a no nonsense, no, how are you feeling? Like, is
She had
everything
like
okay?
a uniform on.
Yeah, and she's
"Sit down.
like waxing
Show me your butthole.
She's like, turn over.
Turn over.
So she's waxing me, and my hair was so thick, and she kept being like, your hair is so thick. Why are your hair so thick? And I was like, oh, God, I'm so sorry. And so finally she's waxing me,
Yeah.
and she's like pulling so hard on the strip, and she yoinks it, and the glob of wax with some of my pubes in
Yeah.
it flies up and lands on the ceiling.
Did it stick?
Yes, and she didn't notice it, but I did.
Think it went.
I don't know. She was not paying attention to where it went because she was so focused on the fact she's like, why your hair's so thick? But she did like a clump of it, and I just remember staring up at the ceiling. I was like,
It's like a Rorschach. You're trying to like make out.
I was like, oh my fucking God.
Wow.
I cannot believe that just happened. And I didn't say anything.
I bet it's still there.
Some
to this
say-
day.
Some say it's still there to
Some
this
say-
very day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like it got I don't know, glass around it. It's been preserved.
Yeah, they just put it
It's like a museum.
It's structurally part of the.
Isn't that crazy?
They've added more. She's just, like you thought that was weird. That's what she does.
Yeah,
She just-
that's her trick. That's what she's known for.
Have you ever tried this one?
It was honestly, it was something that would have like happened in, I don't know, some Judd Apatow film.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. Oh, Kelly Clarkson. And then it just lands on the ceiling.
I think I've told you this before. I don't think I've said it on the podcast, but my ex's wake up alarm was the soundbite.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
I did tell
Yeah.
you this. I actually think I told you this on the actual first episode of the podcast, which is unreleased.
Oh, that's right.
I think
release the director's
should.
cut.
That should be our. We got to come up with
It's so
something.
funny
for that.
because that episode we got very into like, so how did you first get into
I don't
want
to watch it actually.
No, I know.
Like we're only 7 episodes in, and I already feel like I'm like it's like looking at a photo
Yeah.
of like you in high school. Like
You're like, ah.
no, that was his wake up alarm, and he used to get up for work at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I would go to bed at like probably like 1 or 2 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would get waken up to Kelly Clarkson, Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson. Like it was just repeating over and over again.
He is a masochist.
It was weird.
Yeah, like
Like it was just normal to me, but now thinking back on it, I was like, that's weird. And when you are waking up and your brain hasn't quite comprehended what's happening, like
Yeah.
when somebody walks in and they're talking to you and you can't understand them really, it was like that. So it would wake me up, but I couldn't understand what it was saying. So every morning when I woke up, my brain would like insert what I thought it was saying, which was different things every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that weird kind of, am I awake or am I dreaming?
Yeah.
And
Kelly
why is
Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson here?
Yeah. So now I finally got around to watching that movie, and when that part came up, I was like, it was like
You had like a Pavlovian response.
no.
Like,
Yeah, I wanted to like run out
Yeah.
of the house. I was like, oh, never again.
dude, Will sets his alarm. It's the
That one.
But the thing is, we're both snoozers. Like,
Same.
okay,
Bad.
yeah.
Do you wake up to snooze or do you just?
I wake up.
Because I just snooze without waking up. It's bad.
Let's talk about...
Defying Gravity. We finally did it.
We did.
We did it. We've been saying we were going to. We were going to have it be a bit forever where we were just going to tell you guys each episode. No,
people were disappointed when I told them that we were going to go see the movie.
They thought it was going to be a bit.
Yeah. I said, you guys, I have to see this movie though.
Yeah.
Not just because, oh, it's Wicked, I'm a theater kid, but because I am working my way through the films that are being talked about this award season, and Wicked is a huge one.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to go see this movie. I'm sorry.
Yep. I'm glad you did because if I had $1 for every time I get so excited for a movie to come to theaters and then I don't see it, yeah. I'd be rich. We are going to go see Nosferatu. Yes. God help us, whether it's together or not. But we went. It was really cool. Actually, we went to the theater at Universal Studios,
which I'd
never been to.
Yeah.
But I have a year pass to Universal, so I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I'll go. I can get free parking. I can get 15% off at the theater. None of those happened.
Wait, what?
Did not get free parking. Did not get 15% off. I also
Did you do the thing I told you to do?
No, and they told me to do that too. They said I can get my parking validated at the theater, and I forget. I know.
You dumb.
No, I'm a dummy. But the cool thing about that theater is they have a bunch of movie memorabilia inside of it. So they had all of the costumes from Wicked,
awesome.
And they had the Nosferatu $20,000 bed. It wasn't. It was
they
just
were going
chamber.
in a bed.
Yeah.
And the
sarcophagus. And so we got to see the
and you were very excited by the seats that reclined.
Yes, I've never been to a theater that the seats reclined.
Yeah, it's nice.
Because all the theaters in my hometown are just like seats. You sit down. There might be lice on them. There's probably gum on them. They squeak.
You can get a popcorn that tastes like stale cardboard,
and then you leave. Yeah. Like you go in, you watch your movie, you get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. But this was like I sat down and then it kind of like just kept going back, and I was like,
so comfy, cozy. I know.
It was so nice.
The best.
Yeah, it was good.
So let's talk about
Wicked.
Let's talk about Wicked.
It was great.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I had fun. Mm-hmm. I had fun. I do think it's kind of crazy that people are clamoring for it to be Best Picture.
Oh yeah, no, it was.
That's wild.
It was exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't. They followed the recipe.
Yeah, like I'm cool with it getting a costumes nomination. I think Cynthia Erivo was stunning.
She was great.
I think she was amazing. But otherwise, like, I don't think that Wicked should clean up.
It should not clean.
It should not. No.
Absolutely not. It deserves its flowers. It does not get the whole garden.
It was fun, and it's not like I was sitting there, like tapping my fingers because of wanting it to be over, but it was too long still. It was too long.
There was about 30 minutes at the end that I was like...
Yeah, and there were side characters and subplots that are obviously, hopefully, going to be explored more, like get more room, get more screen time in part 2. But just the very fact that this is split into 2 parts, and you're like, that did not need to happen. No. That is just a Hollywood thing, right? Yeah. That's just a money thing of, we can't do 1 3-hour movie like other movie musicals that are great. No, we have to split this into 2.
We must.
It's like them turning the fucking Hobbit into 3 films.
And I think they announced the release date like today or something. I think November 21st, maybe.
Yeah, it's November of next year.
Yeah, which is like, also I understand that like it takes a long time to do things, but when you release, I will not care about part 2 by November. I can tell you that much. I will not care. I won't.
Just like the final scene of Wicked Part 1, it takes the momentum out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an interesting we'll get to that. Because that's interesting.
Now, I want to ask you, because you haven't seen the stage show, but I know you know the story of Wicked. Mm-hmm. So maybe it won't be
I've watched enough pink and green slime
You've
tutorials.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing too, is that when we got out of the theater, I was like, so was everything you wanted and more? And you said it was really fun. And then you go, I have seen a lot of it online.
I've seen so like
did you watch it all on TikTok?
You avoided the clips. There was so many scenes from the movie that I had seen on
That you had
Twitter
already seen. Yeah.
9 times. So.
But as somebody who has not you the Broadway production of it, did you feel like that you were surprised by any of the twists and turns? Were there any characters that you were like, why is this person here? Because again, they split Wicked into a the stage version into a 2-part
I've
film.
read the plot synopsis, so I do know the story and I know what is coming. And so I think they did a pretty good job there. I think they did a pretty good job of foreshadowing. Characters wise, even having not seen the play but just seeing clips, I think that the Elphaba and Glinda that we got from the movie were very unique and not similar to the Broadway versions, which is fine because it was Hollywood. You said this when we left the theater. It was really cute to see Kristen Chenoweth and Adina in the movie.
Yeah.
However, the moment they sang, I went, yeah, they were better.
You know what? To be fair to Cynthia and Ariana, I think that's also just the energy of those two having been friends and worked together for so fucking long.
Yeah.
Like, it's the moment that you see them on the screen,
you're like,
you just feel the 20 plus years of that relationship.
Yeah.
And they were so funny. They had this really, really great chemistry.
That was the thing, is it's like their chemistry.
I think Ariana and Cynthia eventually found some of those notes, but there's still this there was a sweetness. There was a sweetness to their relationship, but it just didn't have the, oh my God, we've been doing this for a long time, which of course, because they haven't been doing it for as long as Adina and Kristen. Who was your favorite performance?
I love the choreography from Loathing, Unadulterated Loathing. I love the choreography. So I did dance team when I was in high school. Have we talked about this?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I'm a big choreography person.
Okay.
Because I love watching dancing. Because I love dancing. It's fun. And so the choreography from that one, the choreography from Dancing Through Life was wonderful. I'm trying to think if any of the other ones there was a couple that had good choreography, but those were the two that in my head I really enjoyed watching the choreography from. Ariana, she was funny to watch dance. I don't think she quite impressed me with the dancing.
Yeah.
You could tell if you watch her, they gave her a lot of shortcuts out of dancing.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of times I would notice specifically where the camera would go away and then go back to her when they would do like a specific like turn or something.
I ultimately thought Ariana was good.
Yeah, she was fine.
I think I might have had lower expectations. So that might have helped.
I will say something that's really impressive is a startling amount of that movie is practical effects and not CGI, which is really surprising. Like the train. That's not CGI.
Yep.
They built that train.
It's beautiful.
Shiz, like a lot of that was practical effects.
Sorry, that's just so silly too.
Yeah.
Shiz University.
Yeah, it so I'll give them their flowers there.
I'll give them their flowers too on the costume design, on the details.
Jeff Goldblum, the giant metal face that pushes through the curtain, that's practical effects.
They made that. Yeah, I mean, I think like there was so much attention to detail from, the background, like either the people who lived in Oz or in Munchkinland to the main characters. Like the details of their clothing and
The costume design was crazy good.
yeah. Oh my god, it was really really
Madame
beautiful.
Morrible's outfits, I could barely pay
That
attention.
is probably
her hair,
that was
her-
probably the only good thing I would say about Madame Morrible in the film.
Yeah, she was
her costume.
She was a little bland.
She just didn't. I love Michelle Yeoh too,
Yeah.
and it's painful. It's painful for me. I love Michelle Yeoh and I love Jeff Goldblum, and I thought they were the weakest. The weakest. Are you?
I loved Jeff.
Jeff was just
I thought
Jeff
he was
though,
good.
but he was just Jeff.
But
They
that
were
is
like
the-
kind of-
that
they
is
were
the
one
wizard.
dimensional.
No, but I'm kind of like, look, I love Jeff Goldblum, but I'm kind of a little bit exhausted by, oh, that's just Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum, where
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have loved to see like you know how Willem Dafoe played that character in Poor Things, where Willem
Yes.
Dafoe is also a character actor, but he has this ability that I just don't think Jeff Goldblum does to be Willem Dafoe, the character actor, but also like this weird, quirky character in
He
the film
wasn't
that he's
quirky
in.
enough.
No, and I just
Which is
he
weird
was just
'cause Jeff
too
Goldblum-
like
he's Jeff Goldblum.
And yes, welcome to Oz.
Yeah.
Do you know they have been trying to make Wicked forever? And do
Yeah.
you know what film it was that they ended up switching in the order? So Universal was like, we're gonna move Wicked so that we can do
Do whatever you're talking about
Yeah.
earlier.
yeah. I will give you a clue. There's the butthole version.
Cats.
Yeah.
Wow.
They
So would we have
moved
maybe
Wicked.
we would have had Wicked back
I
in
think
what
s-
2018
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
something? When did that come out?
Basically, after the success of Wicked on Broadway, they went, oh, we have to make a movie
Yeah.
musical version. And then
2019.
I think it was Les Mis
Mhm.
that came out in 2014 and it made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So then they were like, oh my God, we have to do Wicked.
Mhm.
And at that point, I think Mark Platt came on board, who's Ben Platt's father, Nepo baby Ben Platt. And he is like a big time Broadway, Hollywood film producer. So he came on, and then then there was the Cats thing with Universal where they switched it on their production schedule. And then finally in 2021, John Chu came on board. And that's when things got serious.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, it's been a long road, even since 2021. I
Yeah.
feel like there's been a lot surrounding the lead up to Wicked, mostly with Ariana and
Yeah.
Ethan Slater, who's
Yeah.
really good.
He is really
He's
good.
really
you know,
good.
I will say, I think from what I've heard too, like timeline wise, I think their relationship is pretty valid too. Like I think that he had broken up with his ex, and that like there was like it wasn't crossover.
Okay.
And then when people were seeing Ethan Slater on like I think he went on like the Tonight Show or like he's gone on a couple talk shows and stuff, people are kind of like, hold on a minute, Ariana, like wait a minute, we might see we might be seeing it though, you know, because he's pretty lovely in like
well,
interviews
I'm also
and stuff.
just like, sorry, but also this is so typical for theater, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a guy who can sing and dance and act, who's like goofy and
Yeah.
sweet and super talented. Yeah, that's like you being a golden goose.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think he was really good. He did a really good job.
Yeah, he was really great.
I also love the TikTok where it's like, we belong together, me and Bach. And I did that, and that was my only. I actually have to briefly talk about the girl that was sitting next to me, who was holding back demons the whole movie. She was like trying not to sing. She was like Fortnite emoting. Like,
you know, good for her.
good for her. Like
Good
she
for
was,
her.
and she
Shout
kept
out.
going, yes, and like turning to the
Yeah.
person next to us. And I was not singing, but I did go, me and Bach out loud in the theater.
I had like no desire to
Sing.
I didn't have to like keep myself from singing at all.
Either.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get part 2
We will.
in a year, and
we'll let you know.
5 hours total of Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the body shaming of Sydney Sweeney. Let's talk about how the video game awards just happened, and they released trailers for the next installment of The Witcher, and then also Intergalactic.
Can I bring something up that's unrelated?
Yeah.
When you talk, you move your foot like you're a maestro. Like it's like you're conducting your
Oh my God, I'm Bradley Cooper.
You like I've noticed the whole time, like when you emphasize things, you
Oh my God, put these feet away.
Like-
Put them away.
like she's been like, let's talk
No
about
way.
Hollywood.
Excuse me.
Now you're
Okay.
gonna notice that I shouldn't have said anything until
Call
the
my-
end. It's
call
so
my-
funny though.
Call my foot
The dogs
Bradley,
are
the way
out,
he
and
is
we're not talking about.
maestroing. I know. Okay, so there are pictures of Sydney Sweeney in her bathing suit hanging out in either her backyard or wherever she is staying. And she's just a woman existing. And a paparazzi took photos of her. And these photos circulated online, which already it's like, come on.
I've noticed a trend of people posting photos of celebrities, and the photos are clearly like photos that they're I don't want to say unflattering, but it's like the celebrity clearly was not ready for the photo. They're maybe in like a bathing suit, something like this, where it's like Sydney Sweeney
they're
didn't
candid
post these.
photos
They're
where
candid,
she's in privacy.
and they'll be like new photos of Sydney Sweeney with no context because they know.
Oh yeah, they know that
what they're
they know
doing.
that there's gonna be a lot of conversation around them.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, it was like non-stop discourse over these pictures, and it's, you know, of course it was like dudes with Cheeto crusted fingers saying
me
that
half
Sydney
the time,
Sweeney was that
could be
this
me
one of your
sometimes.
alt accounts saying that she was fat, that she's mid, that
Yeah.
she's catfishing.
Yeah.
And they would post a side by side of her on a red carpet.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's just a lot of very loud, annoying men who are, of course, commenting on her body to the point that she actually posted on her Instagram. It was like a reel of all of these comments that she has. There it is. Yeah. It's just one after the other
Of just rude ass
of
comments.
just
Did she
rude
caption
ass
it
comments.
or that's it?
No. So what she has at the end here is a compilation of her training, because she is starring in a film about Christy Martin. Christy Martin, who was a Women's International Boxing Federation champion, and her success in boxing is largely what made female boxing go mainstream. So she's a really, really influential figure and very important to the sport of women's boxing. And the like kind of the irony of this situation is that Christy Martin was almost murdered by her husband, who was also her trainer. And it's because when he was 25 years older than her, when he married her, he knew she was a lesbian. He still married her anyway. And he would use her sexuality as a way to control her. And he would blackmail her and threaten her and be like, I'll tell everyone that you're, you know, gay. And finally, she decided to leave him. She was going to leave him for a woman. And so he stabbed her and shot her and nearly killed her. And it's, you know, she has a really amazing story. She's playing Christy Martin in a biopic. And that's why at the end of this reel, she's posted training photos where she's getting swole. She's bulking up. You can see like she's lifting, and she is playing a character that like, no doubt when this film comes out, there will be pictures of her circulating as Christy Martin where these same men will probably be like, ew, what happened to Sydney Sweeney, right? So anyway, it's the gross irony in that here's this woman who was almost murdered by her husband. right?
Yeah.
Like he was very abusive and homicidal. And she has been training for this role, and not that there is anything wrong with her body, but the reason that she probably has put on that she looks like she's put on weight is because she's been training to play this.
She's buff.
This boxing role.
Yeah. It's like when you're working out that hard, you got to eat food, man.
Exactly. And so just like all of these comments, because here's the thing. Obviously, there's a big divide between men who say horrible comments about women's bodies and objectify them in just a really, really deeply dehumanizing way. There's a large gap between that and then men who are like physically violent towards women, but that's on the same road, right? That's a stop that you make when you get to the extreme end of the road, which is like
getting shot and stabbed.
Yeah, exactly. So just the fact that is this role that she has been training for, and all of these comments about how she looks. And the thing about it too is this is the same thing as when men last year were calling Margot Robbie mid.
Yeah.
Remember that when she was promoting Barbie?
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder if that has to do with the fact that this is a movie for women and girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, finally women and girls have a, that they have this beautiful, Margot Robbie is beautiful, but it was in a different way than how she was in like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Where her playing,
she's not meant to be
it's intentionally in Barbie.
Yeah.
It is eschewing the male gaze. We've got Margot Robbie as mid. We've got Sydney Sweeney catfishes. We've got name a woman.
Yeah, I think
name a woman, especially a famous woman.
That guys do sometime with characters or actors or women they know or women that have rejected them, where they can't simply accept that there are beautiful women in the world that like they can't have or whatever. So to rise above it, they insult.
Well, it's power.
It's power. So it's like, yeah, fuck Sydney Sweeney. She's, she's ugly. Like, I think whatever. And it's like, you can acknowledge that, like, maybe you just, like, can't pull somebody, or maybe you, like, are not interested in somebody and not go full send on insult,
Well, I think ultimately what it's about is it is a misogynistic power dynamic.
Yeah.
And women, for these misogynistic men, women exist as only objects of male pleasure. And so if a woman like Sydney Sweeney, who previously has been held up as like her boobs have ended wokeness, right?
Yeah.
Is like, oh, this is what they haven't wanted you to see, like a beautiful blonde woman with
boobs,
gorgeous breasts. And you're like, when has that ever not been not been a thing that is
we've never seen this before,
right? Like,
she's brave,
blonde, big boobed white women. Wow. But it is when as a woman you are not fulfilling the male fantasy, then they turn on you.
They feel personally, it's like you took their toy away when you have Sydney Sweeney, big boobs, blonde hair, and then all of a sudden they see a picture of Sydney Sweeney where
she has no makeup on and she's just like chilling in her
and they're just like horrified.
Yeah,
they're just like bamboozled
because they're like, hold on, that's not the Sydney Sweeney that the pictures that I see that I normally take my dick out and immediately start masturbating.
It's the same as was it Pamela Anderson who's been going like all natural on the red carpet?
She doesn't wear makeup,
and people are like fucking bamboozled and so upset about it.
Yeah,
it's like, you get upset when women wear a bunch of makeup and our boobs are all done up and we're catfishing. But you also are upset. So it's like when people like the Kardashians, right? The Kardashians are the most done up people in Hollywood, like arguably, and people are pissed about that. But then, and they're like, God, I just wish like sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on. Like what happened to that? And then you have people like Pamela Anderson who are like, you know what? I think I'm going to do no makeup. I think I'm just going to be all natural. Like I'm older now. Like I'm going to embrace my natural beauty. And people are like, oh, like, can't you bother?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've had this experience where if you are wearing makeup, you've had people be like, well, you shouldn't wear that much makeup, or you're wearing a lot of makeup, or like, why are you wearing so much makeup? Or if you don't wear makeup, they're like, what's wrong with you? Are you sick?
It's as streamers, we experience this a lot because if we change anything about what we've done makeup wise, we get comments.
Anything.
Because the dumbest people on the internet like decide that they are allowed to say it just to your face.
Yes.
So for me, it's like my favorite compliment from men, which I don't know why we're in 2029. What year is it?
Yeah, we're in 2029.
Wow. See, that's how I feel. Is I feel like it's like
go off, Queen. Go off.
I don't know how we're in the year that it is right now. Whenever you're watching this,
some year,
where people still keep thinking you look better without makeup on is a compliment. Like if you're listening to this and you don't know this, that's not a compliment.
Yeah.
Like stop saying that to people.
And along those lines, let's talk about.
Because that's happening
video
not
games.
just in Hollywood, but in the video game world right now.
Thank you for your
So
ball.
recently there was the Game Awards, which we were both going to go to, but I pussied out.
Yeah, you did.
Big
time.
I decided I
Big time.
wanted to stay home and watch it on the big screen. However, there were some interesting things that happened, and this is going to be my little soapbox for video games. So I'm going to take
Get on
this.
it.
I'm going to take it. So the Game Awards. 10th anniversary, kind of a big one. There was a lot of big announcements. I'm going to quickly go over them. And there are some really exciting ones. The Witcher 4, which is the fourth in a series by CD Projekt Red, which has also made Cyberpunk 2077. Other than that, they've primarily made Witcher games. That was a big one. Elden Ring came out with their own. You know that one? They're coming out with Night Rain, which is scary. That is a scary title that they have released. From Software is the developer for Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne. From Software doesn't miss. And this is a really scary title that they've announced because they've already broken some of their own rules. And one of them is the lore that they've broken. There's a character in the trailer. This game is supposed to be an Elden Ring game. And one of the characters, one of the enemies in this trailer is from a Dark Souls game. Now, from what From Software has given us so far, there is no crossover between the Dark Souls universe and the Elden Ring universe that is in a way that a character could traverse from one to the other than one character. And if you've played the From Software games, you know which character that is. There's one character that is in all of them. But that's just kind of like a fun little thing that the characters that From Software has done. Anyways, that game could potentially be a hot mess. It might be great. I don't know, but that's not the one we're here to talk about. Is The Witcher 4 and Intergalactic, which is a game that is by Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is known for Last of Us. It is known for Crash Bandicoot. It's known for Uncharted. It's known for a bunch of really big games.
And they haven't released a game in a while, right? So is that also why this is...
But they haven't released a big new standalone title in a long time. They've been kind of working on The Last of Us because Last of Us had the film adaptation. And so they've kind of been just re-releasing Last of Us over and over again. Yeah. Like, hey, here's a remake. Hey, it's on a new console. Hey, so they've kind of just been like baby birding it back into our mouths a bunch of times. But they have announced Intergalactic, which is a new title. It is set in space. They've been working on it for a long time and have been keeping it on the DL. And that's really exciting. However, with these two titles, Witcher 4 and Intergalactic, the protagonists are women, which is not okay. That's not allowed.
Hold on.
We can't be doing that.
No.
Which is interesting because Intergalactic, it's a standalone title. It's new. So the main protagonist, named Jordan, apparently is the character's name, played by Tati Gabrielle, who... was in.
She was in the show You.
She was in the show
Yeah.
You. She was also, I believe, she's done some gaming stuff. I'm not quite sure like what she's done, but the main protagonist of Intergalactic, head's shaved, kind of rough looking, like not super femme presenting character. And they simply can't have this.
No.
They simply cannot have this.
No.
And so the game, although we just got a cinematic for it, people are up in arms about it. They simply cannot handle. Now that one, Jordan is a new character, so people are pissed off. However, The Witcher 4, the main character in that one is Ciri.
Right.
And she is a character that has been in the series before and is very prominent. So it is not we didn't yassify, girlify Geralt, which is the main character from the other games. We have given a side character, barely a side character.
Also, the last time
A main character.
the last
role.
time that she was seen, she's like 19, right?
She's pretty young, and here
So it's
we
been
don't.
there's a time jump too.
Yeah, graphics wise, it looks like there's been a bit of a time jump because she does look much older than she did in the Witcher. However, it's been 10 years since The Witcher 3 came out, so
Okay.
it's kind of just an upgrade in graphics. But she does look older.
Yeah.
We've had other characters that have been. Horizon Zero Dawn is the one that comes. There's two that come to mind as of recent. Horizon Zero Dawn, she was a character that people were very upset because when they released the trailers, she had this hair on her face, which is, everybody has it, right? Like it's like that fine, that peach fuzz on her face. And there was a trailer that got released a couple of years ago, I think maybe like a year or 2 years ago. And people were so upset because her face had that, and also just, she had kind of a square jaw, or like she didn't have a whole lot of eye makeup on. But people were really upset about that. And then also Last of Us Part 2, Abby is the main protagonist.
Right.
And Abby, like Sydney Sweeney, is ripped, like ripped, and people were furious. Like they were absolutely just like beside themselves that this main protagonist was a big, beefy, buff girl.
Right. And the question is like, okay, so that's good for men, right? And in fact, that's a thing that men love to see. But when it comes to women, they want them to look feminine and soft. And that is because
they want to fuck them.
they want to fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, what you could do if you wanted to be smarter about being a misogynist is wait until the game comes out and then complain that it's a bad game and at least pretend that that's why you don't like it.
Yeah.
It's like when you complain that a game looks bad when all they've shown is a cinematic of a female character getting up, walking to the front of a spaceship and then sitting down.
Yeah,
like
but see, that's requiring them
it's like
to be
I think
smart,
I
which
know,
is
right? We can't. It's too
too
much.
much. It's too much.
My biggest complaint with that trailer for Intergalactic is it is slammed with product placement. There is Porsche on the back of the spaceship. There is
That's crazy.
Adidas.
That is
There
crazy.
is, I mean, Sony makes sense because
Yeah.
it's, PlayStation will be what it's on probably. But that for me, when I was watching that trailer, I was like, oh, people are going to be mad because we're like video games are being bought out by big companies like that. Like interesting. We're moving towards
Big corn.
like Death Stranding. That was an interesting one because Norman Reedus was chugging Monster Energy drink the whole time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
video games, we haven't really had a whole lot of like big product placement. There's been some.
It's getting Truman Showed.
It's become, that's what it is
Yeah.
becoming. It was so funny because video games always have had knockoffs of big brands because, they don't want to cross over and get into the territory. But now those companies are paying money to be like, yeah, Porsche, here, put a Porsche in the game.
Capitalism, baby.
And I always kind of like knew it was going to happen, but it's funny to see it. So I thought that's why people were going to get pissed. And then when everybody's pissed because
You're like, wait, you're pissed.
yeah.
You're like, wait, there's a thing for you to be pissed about.
Yeah, and there's also like with Intergalactic, the main character has her head shaved. It's like if I was in space and I was putting a helmet on all the time, yeah, I'd probably shave my head.
We should shave our heads.
Yeah. I think I'd have a weird shaped head.
Let's laser
Or
everything.
everything
Yeah.
from the down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
You know what I do on a
We'll
laser?
really stick it to the man.
We'll stick it to the man. I mean, I think people were doing that when Trump got elected, shaving their head.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't. Do
I
that.
couldn't.
I have a small head.
I could not.
I would.
I would not look good with a shaved head. I'm just saying right now.
I get cold.
Yeah. Like I could not V for Vendetta.
Yeah. Somebody told me once that this might be a lie. So if this is a lie, please tell me in the comments. Somebody told me once that when bald people sweat, they have to be careful and they can't go out in the cold because then the condensation on their head will get cold and hurt their brains.
Half of me wants to be like, you were bamboozled. You were swindled. And then the other half of me is like, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like I heard that they could like have brain damage because they would get like a brain freeze on their brains. Can bald people die from the cold? Wait, what? Yes, bald people can go out in the rain when it's cold.
But they should wear a hat to protect their exposed scalp from the chill, as their head will lose heat much faster without hair insulation.
Yeah. I don't know.
Can you just type in can bald people? I want to see what pops up. Can bald people get lice?
Can bald people get dandruff?
Can bald people grow their hair back?
Can bald people grow hair?
Can bald people grow hair back?
Can bald people have dandruff again?
Can bald people get acne on their head?
Can bald people still get dandruff? There's like one guy that's bald with dandruff that's Googling it and has many wordings
over and
possible.
over again.
He's like, God, foiled.
Oh my God.
Can you type in can bald people do? Can bald people donate sperm?
Can bald people use shampoo?
Can bald people use
Minoxidil?
Is it okay to be bald?
Please click on that. Is it okay to be bald? Yes, it's okay to be bald.
Also, the AI, Google's AI, yes, it's natural. It doesn't define you. You can embrace it. You can be confident. You can be a role model.
Wait, continue reading that.
Celebrities like Dwayne The Rock, I told you! And Jason Statham have embraced their baldness.
You can find humor in it. Baldness has been a comedy tool for centuries.
So they say it doesn't define you. You can embrace it. You can be confident. Also, you're a clown. Wow. Shout out to
Just
bald
make
people.
it so that people aren't laughing at you, but laughing with you.
Yeah. Wow. Bald people.
Bald
Shout out to you.
Shout out, honestly. #bald is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that a cancer thing though?
Maybe.
Is that like awful if I say that?
I think I get
I'm
the
now
pass.
Like, why
I'm
do I
giving
have
you the
that
pass.
in my head? You're giving me the pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Blinn. Just no hashtag.
Yeah. How about that? Okay.
Yeah. It's not a movement. It's just a phrase.
I want you to know
Okay.
that if I ever see you singing musical theater and wearing black turtlenecks, I will sue you for stealing my vibe.
Okay.
Just like this influencer who's suing another influencer for stealing her basic vibe.
Her vibe.
That is
Please don't steal
that is
my
what has happened.
vibe.
I don't know if you've
Please
seen.
don't steal my vibe.
I don't know if you've seen this lawsuit.
No, but I'm ready
But
for it.
are you ready?
I'm ready. Let me know.
So there's this New York Times article. Can you copyright a vibe? One influencer is suing another, accusing her of copying her minimalist aesthetic on social media. Turns out there's a lot of gray area and shades of beige. So let me just kind of sum this up. There is one influencer named Sydney Gifford.
Okay.
And she is suing another influencer, Alyssa Sheil. And she's claiming that Alyssa Sheil because they knew each other once upon a time. I don't like I kind of feel like all influencers.
They all know each other.
Especially if you do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And they're both Amazon storefront influencers. So they're the influencers who will like buy things or get products from Amazon, and they post like, here's a mirror pic of me, clean girl vibe in my, you know, big sweater and cozy pants from Amazon. And then, you know, they tag all the products.
Yep.
And they basically are trying to get people to buy them from their storefront.
Yep.
So Sydney Gifford, who's 24 years old and thinks that she owns the basic beige clean girl aesthetic, you know, I'm talking like beige couch, beige wall,
off-white shirt.
Yeah,
I know the vibe.
Yeah, it's like it's hashtag
Clean
sad
girl.
beige house.
Clean
Okay,
girl.
Yeah, the clean girl aesthetic that
which is very in right now, but apparently there can't be two.
Right. So she's like, yo, Alyssa Sheil, who's a former acquaintance of mine.
Of yours?
No.
Oh.
She said, yo, this girl who I worked with once and who's also an influencer has, quote, replicated the neutral beige and cream aesthetic of my brand identity. Which is hilarious. Okay, so she is saying that Sheil copied her style as well as her photos and captions and is now seeking $150,000 in damages for lost income and mental anguish. Okay. She basically wants the court to legally determine that she, in fact, is like the most basic girl. Like she wins. She is
the most
number
basic
one
girl.
beige basic
You are
girl.
patient zero of beige.
Yeah. But like, okay. Here's my thing. All of the internet now is just the fucking same, right? Like everything looks the same. Everybody who is in the influencing world all does the same shit.
Yeah.
And there is no originality. And really, if you want to talk about the queen of influencers who mainstreamed the clean girl aesthetic, it's Kim Kardashian. Remember when those pictures came out of her home and it looked so fucking depressing?
That was the weirdest house tour I've ever seen.
It's horrifyingly cold.
Horrifying.
Even her Christmas stockings for her children were beige.
Yeah, that was
that
weird.
woman in her home is allergic to any fun, any
was
color.
weird.
But that is the clean girl, sad beige aesthetic. Yeah, like look at how sad that is.
It looks like, you know, when they go inside of Patrick Starr's house and all of his things are made of sand. That's what that looked like. It's funny because if these girls had like some specific quirk style, it's like, oh, I only put things on my Instagram with red ladybugs on them. I don't know. Like that would be one thing, but having the most
literally basic. It is literally
it's the lack
most basic
thereof
style. And look, I think on the one hand, you know, you can't copyright a trend, especially one that you didn't fucking start.
Also, the point of being an influencer is to get other people to do what you're doing.
I know.
But then when they do it,
I will say she might the only area that I think she might have a case here is if they look at specifically images and videos and saying that they are like one is a carbon copy of the other, so that the one influencer was infringing on the ownership or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like if I suddenly started copying every single photo and caption the way that you do it,
you're like, I'm gonna get skin cancer on my face. Ha ha.
Yeah, ha ha ha.
I got a scar now.
And post about it.
Yeah.
So copyright generally does not protect a vibe. Like I can't be like, I'm copywriting this. My vibe.
No mushroom sweaters for anybody else.
My vibe. If anybody tries to steal this, I'm taking you to court. But it can protect Like, I think it's a case by case thing.
It's like a likeness thing.
Yeah. So she has submitted a bunch of evidence of social media posts.
Yeah.
And the reason that she's so pissed off is because they're both Amazon storefront influencer girlies. And so she's like, well, if somebody buys her product, then they're not going to come to my storefront. Like if they go to this storefront, then they're not going to go to another storefront. But it's one of those things where it's like, no offense, you are not this creative girly by pushing Amazon products. Okay. When she's like, I carefully curate this stuff. It's like, come on, dude. Come on.
You're
It's
taking
fucking
other
Amazon.
people's products and
right.
you're
The crazy thing
like,
about Amazon is that a lot of what she's pushing, the irony is that it's knockoffs, right? Amazon does cheap versions of designer things. Like they are already stealing a design. So for Miss Girl to be like, excuse
she's
me?
acting like she sews every piece of clothing that she tries to push as an influencer, and they're like some unique piece of thing. It's like you're monetizing the most like it is. I will say the clean girl aesthetic is nice. Like when I see photos and stuff at it, I'm like, oh, that's really aesthetic. Like cream colors, like maybe just like dainty like gold jewelry. I'm like, that looks nice. However, it is not some like innovative new wave style that you yourself are creating and sewing and selling to a customer. Like,
also, the funny thing is that clean girl is the term clean girl and like the Hailey Biebers of clean girl aesthetics. That's a newer thing. That came around like 2021, 2022. But the fundamentals of the clean girl aesthetic, that goes all the way back to like what brown and black women were doing in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So you had, Latina women with the chola look where they would have their slicked back hair. They would have like just glossy lips, but hardly any other, makeup. They would have hoops. And of course, as is most things in culture, they were like mocked and they had to like work really hard to they like really had to stand up for their identity and for their fashion choices. And like it was not something where you had white people in the mainstream copying that look because it was seen as lesser, right? Anyway, all that to be said that oftentimes these TikTok trends have their roots in black and brown culture, of course. So also just this white influencer girly being like, this is my vibe.
I invented it.
And it's like, do you even know where this comes from? Do you even know where the origination of clean girl aesthetics? Because clean girl is hair in like a low slicked bun, right? No frizz, a simple braid, gold jewelry, clean, dewy skin. Nowadays, like fluffy eyebrows, maybe just a little gloss, very like I woke up.
Yeah, I'm just
like this.
It is. I'm gonna stay home and read a book today. I have my sweater on.
Right. So I am very curious to see what will happen with this lawsuit because it certainly will set a precedent in the world of influencing if
please don't steal my vibe.
Gifford, the one who is suing the plaintiff actually wins, maybe not in all of her claims, but if in any of the claims that she's able to prove copyright infringement, then it will certainly set a precedent because right now the world of influencing is still pretty,
it's been Wild West out there.
It's lawless.
What would be awesome?
Yeah.
What if they show up to court in the same outfit? like the judge would be like,
dude. There is this article, there's this interview in the Verge where the journalist talks to both these women. She interviews them, okay? She's talking about how, so first she met with Sheil, the one who's being sued, the one who's the stealer of vibes. And And then she went to meet
The Vibemeister.
with the Vibemeister. And the first thing that this journalist describes is when she goes into the house of the Vibemeister, she's like, yeah, it feels like I never left Shiel's house.
Yeah.
She's like, someone just shuffled the pieces around and plopped me onto
Oh
a
my
different
goodness.
set.
She's a fan.
That like she
Oh yeah, the side by side.
But here's the thing too. Here's what I will say. Gifford, that girl ain't breaking boundaries.
No, she's not doing anything
It's
that like
not like
some 22-year-old in her college dorm is doing.
There are so many people on Instagram, TikTok, etc., whether they are professional influencers or not, who are all emulating this exact fucking same aesthetic. You know what I want? I want whoever it was that Gifford took her.
She like comes into the
her
courtroom
vibe
like,
from-
I object.
That you have these two, okay, they're in this battle, and then door slams open, and it's a girl in a same outfit
The
again.
same outfit,
The
yeah.
same outfit again. And she's like, so who really stole from whom?
Yeah, she's like, remember me? The year was 2017. I had a Yeti mug. It was blue. You came over to my lunch table, high school.
And you tell me how
you-
much you liked me. And it just keeps going. It's like this thing that never ends where like door slams open and
Then another girl comes in.
It's
She's
another
like, the year
girl.
was 2011. I had silly bands on. You told me how
Right.
much you liked my silly bands.
and the ultimate
Next day
question
at school,
is who influenced whom?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of
Door slams open. Another one comes. The year was 2023. I came to kindergarten with a Cabbage Patch Kid. You know what you came to school with the next day? I'll tell you what. I think that this experience is just what everybody that had younger siblings is dealing with.
It's so true.
You know what I
You're
mean?
like, you stole my shit.
Yeah.
You
Like, is that
copied
my
me.
shirt?
I will
Lawyer
say,
up, bitch.
okay. Yeah, I'm like, obviously, I'm not taking my sister to court, but I do understand the energy here because when I was in high school, my sister stole everything. She stole my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to emulate the way that I was. She got involved in theater. She got involved in theater.
You have a case.
I have a case, I think.
Dun dun.
Dun dun. So that is like ultimately what this is, because do I believe it's plausible that it's likely that the younger girl, the stealer of the vibes, went, you know what? I really want to grow as an influencer. Who's someone whose page I really like, who she'd also met her before, but I think she could have done it anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's not as if, hello, your job is the internet. Your shit is there.
Yeah.
And that's what people do. They go, okay, this is the direction that I want to go in. This is how I want to make money. I really, really like how her aesthetic and her vibe is. So that's what I'm going to start doing. And you know what? Everybody fucking does that in the influencing world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All of them.
If I come to the podcast next week with a mushroom sweater
I
and
already
gold,
told you I am taking your ass to court and I am suing you for everything that you have.
Okay.
I have to let you know about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who became the first Supreme Court justice to make her Broadway debut.
Wow.
So my plan now is I'm going to go to law school for reals this time.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to work my way up
to
to
the
the
top.
Supreme Court. Not because I want to make sure that like we enshrine our civil rights.
Who needs it?
Not because I want to make sure that that like corruption and ethics violations are out of the Supreme Court. No, it's because I want to be on Broadway.
Wow.
There's no business like show business, like no business, I know. So let
They're
me
like,
tell
"Ma'am,
you. Let
we're-"
me tell you about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who took the stage this past weekend for a one-time performance in the musical and Juliet. It's a comedy retelling, like I think modern version of Romeo and Juliet, where this time Juliet, she don't kill herself.
Oh.
It's
okay.
like, what if Juliet
woke.
didn't die? Yeah, no, exactly. So as you can imagine, people online
they're like, kill yourself, Juliet.
They cannot believe that the biggest the biggest like violation, the biggest thing to be offended about, to be angry about, incensed about, that Supreme Court justices are doing is Ketanji Brown Jackson being on Broadway for one night in a woke play. That is what you should be mad about. It shouldn't be that Clarence Thomas was taking bribes for decades and wasn't reporting them.
Fine.
It shouldn't be the sexual misconduct allegations against Supreme Court justice. None of that. It shouldn't be the fact that they are working very hard to strip marginalized groups' rights in this country. None of that. Okay, that's all noise.
All good.
That's all good. That's
all
just
good.
They're trying to distract you from the real problem, and that is Ketanji Brown Jackson was in a woke play. Mine
is not as interesting as that. In fact, we don't even need to talk about it a whole lot because it has to do with Drake. Mine is that certified lover boy.
Lover boy.
Mine is that as the theme of lookalike contests has progressed, Drake has gotten really excited about his, allegedly, and has said that he is going to award the winner of his lookalike contest $10,000.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Is he's
hurting.
Hurting.
Yeah. Well, it's Kendrick. The whole Kendrick thing, really.
Now, what if
unless he wins that court case against Kendrick, in which he'll bump it up to like 11.
Yeah. So whoever wins, he would be the one celebrity who does this in like the least cool way.
I feel like he's probably the one going around putting flyers on telephone poles.
Yeah, I think so too. He's like, oh my God, did you guys see they're doing a Drake lookalike
like,
contest?
Everybody's talking about it.
Oh my God, everyone's talking about the Drake lookalike contest. Apparently it's going to be the biggest one.
So embarrassing.
So and the thing too is, of course he's doing it after we're so past the moment.
Yeah.
We're like, the moment has passed.
Yeah, exactly. What if like there was a guy that didn't look like Drake and then they were like, that guy's not like us.
Wow. When that popped into your head, were you like...
I kind of like, I put the pieces together. It was like a little puzzle, and then one of the pieces didn't quite...
Right.
But I just...
Yeah.
You know when you do that when the puzzle piece is like almost there? So you're
like, I'm just going to shove it.
Smack that one in there.
Shove it in there anyway.
Yeah, speaking of shoving things in there anyways, this is...
You love to do that where you'll go, speaking of, and whatever it was the last thing we said, and then it actually will not be a natural transition whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I'll be like watching like a crime episode and I'll be like, speaking of getting shot 13 times, thank you guys so much for watching the 7th episode of the Let Me Know podcast.
That, I am not going to lie, that felt like a fucking mess.
We're now going to move on to the Patreon segment. We're going to be talking about the movie Alien 1979 with Sigourney Weaver.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
the cord around her face.
Oh, it's so sorry. In space, no one can hear you scream. 1979's Alien.
Yeah.
Yippee. And we're going to be doing the...
AMAs.
I need to know.
The I need to know segment.
I need to know. Ask me anything.
Which when you came over, I was like, I'm going to be honest, we might have no questions. We might have more questions than last time. And we have like triple.
She says, what's the most difficult decision you've ever had to make? And what did you learn from it? Anything else we should know? Mine is, I told my boss's wife that her husband was cheating on her with one of our coworkers.
Yes.
And things have gone downhill ever since.
Whew.
Holy shit. Okay.
So if you are interested in hearing more, then click the link in the description and it will guide you over to our Patreon. But otherwise, the free things that you can do to support us are like the episode, comment, tell us what you think, what you want us to talk about next week. Subscribe. It's free and it makes us look real good. And thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And we will see you guys
and
next
if
week.
we get to 100 subscribers, Sam is getting an even bigger cross tattoo.
We're at like 10,000. Well, we're good on my face.
So
Here we go.
here we go.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Thank you
All right,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.
Move. Body